38 teams, including Austin Hill in the number 33 for Richard Childress Racing, Corey Heim in the number 67 for 2311 Racing, and Chad Fincham in the 66 for Garage 66. I'm Kyle Rickey. This is NASCAR Hot Pass on the Motor Racing Network.
Scott Tady here. We have a studio guest. Excited about this. Jessie Streeter, Southwest Regional Representative for the Pennsylvania Treasury Department. And there's money at stake, folks. We're talking about more than $1.3 million that Pennsylvania residents are currently owned. And Jessie may have some ways to find out if some of that money is yours. Jessie, first of all, welcome to Beaver County Radio.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you for having me.
So who doesn't want more money? So talk about this. What are these unclaimed funds that are sitting there waiting to be claimed?
And just real quick, it's actually, we have about $5.5 billion owed to Pennsylvania residents. And right now it's about one in every 10 people have money for at the Unclaimed Property Bureau.
So billion with a B.
Billion with a B, yes.
Whoa.
And it's we've been tasked with the job to get that money out there back to where the people that it belongs to.
Now I'm seeing it's more than 1.3 million Pennsylvanians are owed a share.
That's it, yeah.
That's a big chunk of the population.
It is.
What are some examples of this money?
Some examples? Well, I'm a good example. I myself had we had a total of about $1,400 owed to us. And that money came from an HSA from a different industry that I used to work for. That was the health savings account. So that money would leave my paycheck, go into the health savings account. So when I needed it, but when I left that employer, that account went dormant. And when it goes dormant for 2 to 3 years, then it, by law, has to go to the state where we hold it in unclaimed property and try to find the owners. The owners, you can actually go to our website. There you can go to patreasury.gov or the unclaimed property website itself and just search your name. You can search anybody's name. Search loved ones, search friends, family, businesses. They're all under the same umbrella where if their accounts go dormant, uncashed checks, stocks, dividends, they all go dormant. They by law go to the state and it's there with your name on it and waiting for you to claim it. It's very simple to claim. Online, you just, it's like shopping almost, Scott. You just kind of find the property that belongs to you, hit add to cart, and check out.
You just do a search on your name. It could take you to money you totally forgot about.
Absolutely. You can search, and you can search other people's names as well. I like to use Ben Roethlisberger as an example. So if you go on the website and you type in his name, it will show over or under $100 is all the money you're going to see, is all it's going to demonstrate on the website. And it's right there. So you can be friends and family and be bearer of good news. And
I like it. Now, there's a public meeting about this scheduled for today, 5 to 8 p.m. at the Elite Athletics Sports Complex in Beaver Falls. Are you going to be part of that meeting, Jessie?
Yes, sir. So we are partnering with Elite Athletics Training and Development Facility. The Elite Athletics and Training Development Facility is an excellent place for this. We do other programs other than the Unclaimed Property Program. This one here has got a high focus on 529s, which is the PA Educational and Career Savings Account. So Elite is very focused on future focused. That's what the training and development programs are for out there. They're very future focused on those athletes, on their futures. And so is the 529 to prepare for your future post-secondary education. So these savings accounts are a great way to prepare for your career as well as education. There's a lot of changes through these programs. There's always a lot of questions. So we're going to be there answering all these questions, providing the information as to how they can be ready for post-secondary education.
Let's talk more about that PA 529 savings account. So every child born to a Pennsylvania resident,
yes,
to a certain age, it gets a $100 scholarship.
Yes, as of 2019, as of January 1st, 2019, Pennsylvania has launched the Keystone Scholars program. And that is exactly as you said. Every child born since 2019 has a savings account in their name with a $100 investment already put in.
And that's a college scholarship, but even if your child doesn't go to college, they can still roll that over into an IRA and use it as savings.
A Roth IRA, correct. Yep. There's a lot of fleshing out details into that, and it's a great addition to the 529 program where, yes, like you said, if they don't use it, whether they get a scholarship or however, whatever their future holds for them, they can roll it over to a Roth IRA. Wow. With some details involved, of course, but that's the general idea, which is great. We may not all go to college or use that money for a career, but I think one day we all like to not work. So it's nice to
Raising my hand, yes.
It's nice to put that money over to that. So it was a great piece of legislation that they were able to pass this past year. So
And that's the theme of that event tonight. Invest in their future, claim yours. So there's money out there that can help your whole family. And there'll be free handouts, and people will be able to learn how to take advantage of these. So what are some other examples of money that's sitting there? You gave your own personal account, but what are some other ways that people don't even realize you've got money?
So even one of the owners of the Elite Athletics program, I was able to look to him and his wife up, and they had some different deposits that were usually utility funds, like the gas deposit. When you move into an apartment or a house, you put a gas deposit down, and then they move out, and that gas company tries to send a few bucks back to you, and it never gets there. So those are very, very common examples. And businesses, of course, too. A lot of businesses. So I work very closely with a lot of the chambers, and we get their members to come out, or I'll look up their member books, and we'll reach out to them, let them know. I've had some pretty high dollar ones. I've had over $1.8 million was owed to a business around here, and we were able to get that to them. So I mean, that was a very they were very happy to get that. And then there's a lot of nonprofits, your museums and all this stuff that have a lot of transactions that can get lost in the shuffle. Those are the most common ones. Yes.
You gave a good example of a utility company. There's a deposit they owed someone who moves from an apartment and they can't track down their new address. But are there other ways? Like, how does the money get stuck there somewhere in Harrisburg and people don't know about it? Is it because the system is complicated, or?
It's actually really not complicated. That's the surprising part. We are conditioned to be suspect of free money, right?
Yeah.
And this time, anybody that says, hey, we owe you $6,000, and you're just gonna throw that right in the trash. Yep. So we are conditioned to be aware of scams and stuff, and just to let you know that this is legit. In fact, we started a new system this year. In fact, it's called Money Match, which is a little confusing. There's no matching of the money. It's more like data matching. So if you have funds at the Unclaimed Property Bureau, and your data currently matches your current residence, and it's under $500, you will be automatically sent out a check for the money that is owed to you. As long as all that matches up. So if you do get a letter in the mail, we send out, we send out like what I call like a warning letter, like, hey, it says you may have unclaimed funds at the Bureau. Keep an eye on your mail, and a check will be in the mail. And that's what the system's going on right now. So there are a lot of checks being shipped out right now automatically. If it's under $500, those are legit, as long as it has that Treasury seal on it. And if you have questions, there's always phone numbers and stuff. But anytime you're doing outreach, Scott, awareness is usually the biggest factor. So that's what folks like me out here in the Southwest region are trying to do, make sure that message is out there, and people like you help us do it, as well as Elite Athletics.
You hit the nail on the head, though, that we are conditioned to be suspicious. We all get texts that say, hey, you owe the money for the turnpike, and it's not true. What are safeguards from that? How is there ever a case where I would get a letter from the state treasury telling me something, or is it all go through this website?
We send out physical letters.
Okay.
Physical letters will get mailed to you when someone sends us the funds and says, let's use like PNC Bank for an example. Anytime they have an account that goes dormant, they do try to reach the owner, and if they don't, then they're able to send it to the Bureau. It's called escheating. The county does it quite a bit. So when they send the escheat over, we do send a letter out to the last known address of this owner and say, you may have funds, unclaimed property at the Bureau. Please contact us or go to the website. We send out that information letter, and then it's on them to try to do it. Until then, it just sits in perpetuity, which is it'll just sit there until the rightful owners come along.
Now, in the case where if I do go to the website and I look to search on my name and see I do have money, what kind of information is asked from me at that point? Do I have to proof of ID? Because I'm doing this online. How does that work?
Yeah. So real quick, you will search yourself, and we'll have last known addresses, including addresses you don't currently live at, some old addresses. But as long as you believe that property belongs to you, that you're the rightful owner, you can add it to cart and check out. And at that point, yes, that's when you get some questions, and you answer them thoroughly and truthfully. And then that goes from there, where there's a whole investigations team in Harrisburg that will do their part too. And once it all lines up, it's pretty quick.
Again, the number is staggering. More than 1.3 million Pennsylvanian residents currently owed a share of more than $5 billion in unclaimed funds. And this will be discussed tonight in more depth at an elite athletic sports complex in Beaver Falls, 5 to 8 p.m. And I like how they're making this a family event. They're even saying, let the kids run. We'll tire them out. They're going to have games and sports things for the kids to do. Yes, a big thank you to Elite for they're opening up their facility for free use. They have the weight rooms open. The turf is open. Bring the kids, the family. If you're a coach, bring your players. It's a beautiful facility. A lot of new renovations in there. A lot of new turf. The weight room's beautiful. It's got all sorts of stuff there. So thank you to Elite for offering this to us and getting this message out for us. And come on down to the open house. It's awesome. I salute the Treasury Department for getting out in the public and in the community and doing it this way. Have you attended some of these events before? And this is what I do all throughout the counties here in the Southwest. I do partner with a lot of the local officials, schools, especially for that Keystone Scholars that we talked about earlier. Again, back to being conditioned to be suspect of anything free. We'll send those letters out, let them know they have the account and how to go check on it and look at it, watch it grow. Those get discarded pretty quickly. In fact, out of the millions of letters we send a year, only 20% have actually made their claims of those scholarships. So, again, like we said, it's the outreach thing, the awareness thing. So I work with the local school districts to make sure that their kindergartners, as they register, are aware of this scholarship. So if you are a member of the school districts and you operate within the elementary, I would definitely recommend reaching out to the Treasury and seeing how we can get that broadcast a little bit more and make a nice headline I like to see in their social pages is like the local school district unlocks $6,000 in scholarships for the class of 2038, stuff like that. Those are great things to have, and it's good publicity for the schools as well. I'll be honest, I was not aware of PA 529 until yesterday when I heard about this. Yeah. So I'm an example, and I don't have children, but still, that's there's $100 there for, you said, anyone child born after 2019. 2019, yep. Okay. It's January 1st, 2019, it's automatic. So what happens is the child is born, the hospital puts together the birth certificate and sends that to Harrisburg, and then they send it to us, and we build the account, and then we fund it. Now, how does somebody sign up for that? Is there a specific website for that, or? Yeah. So again, you can go to the treasury.gov, and right there's a tab for resources and programs, and you'll see Keystone Scholars right there. And then it takes 3 to 4 minutes for you to type in your information and put it in there. I will say the birth certificate number is the one number that's the one thing that most people don't have handy right off the top of their head. So if I'm out in the public and we're trying to do it like here, we can get so far before we hit that, hey, I need the child's birth certificate number. So kindergarten registration, however, you have to have that number. So we like to coincide those two together. There used to be an office in Newcastle where you could get your birth certificate or get a family member's birth certificate. Oh, is that right? To you. I don't know. I was recently, this is 5-6 years ago, it was still there, I know. I'm not aware of that. But yeah, it's usually, like I said, it's a pretty simple process. And that's usually the one thing that kind of stops it from me doing it in the public with them on their phone or anything like that. But we do put out a lot of information on those things. It's a wonderful thing. It really is. It's a big investment on Pennsylvania's part too. There's a lot of stats out there that show if a child has money in their name for a specific use, it builds an expectation in that child. So they have even $50. Even if they had $50 in their name, as a young child, they think there's an expectation of them, and they are 4 times more likely to go to college or a post-secondary education, and they're 3 times more likely to graduate. So it's those numbers are really impressive, and that's what has sparked the investment on Pennsylvania's part. Because no one wants to just leave money on the table and not use it, right? Exactly. Right? Exactly. Right. Now, is there, for that $5 billion in unclaimed funds that's out there, is there a statute of limitations? Is there an expiration where it's owed to a person, they pass on, their children pass? At some point, what happens if that money just remains there uncollected in the case of an individual? That's a very common question. Yeah, no, it stays there in perpetuity. And yes, the owners can pass away, which then, goes right down the line of kin, next of kin, wills and stuff. But yeah, that money will stay there and forever and ever. Is that an example? Can I type my father's deceased? If I type in his name, will it show if he has any money that's owed to him? Yes, actually, deceased family members is a very, very large part of the funds or of the unclaimed properties.
in the system. Now, it's not super old. It doesn't go back to like the 1800s, this bureau. It does go back to the early 90s, late 80s, I believe. So the people are passing away in the 60s. Those funds aren't part of that, So, but yeah, it's family members is definitely is a common one to look up. So when I'm at these events, we do unclaimed property events for a lot of, like I said, the local officials, your state representatives and state senators. They host a lot of these things. And when I'm sitting down with somebody, so let's just expand. Let's check out some family members, So that's what we do.
Yeah, usually you're in a meeting, someone's trying to get money out of you. It's pretty rare you go to a meeting, here, we want to help.
It's people are confused and they are reluctant to even sit down and talk to me. They believe I'm the IRS. They're like, oh, I probably owe you something. No, you don't. No, we're the Treasury. You don't owe the Treasury. You owe revenue if you do. I'm not even going to look for that stuff. Just, we try to get the money out to where it belongs. If, like you said, that's a big number, $5 billion. Imagine that just hitting our economy tomorrow, all of it, all at once. Yeah. That'd be fantastic. Wow. So it's really important to get this money back out. Even these local small communities try to really put a good focus on that.
You used the example of a business you helped or you steered to. They ended up claiming like $1.5 million or whatever like that. What's an example of a business would be owed money? Why would they have money?
Well, they do a lot of transactions. A lot of businesses do a lot of transactions. So they would have lines of credit or credits from vendors. That's not a very common one. Food vendors, hey, you returned, we owed you, a truckload of food that you didn't use, so we're just going to put a credit on your account and you can use it whenever, and that goes to the side. GameStop's a very common one. When they had a membership sign up, they gave everybody $5 to sign up, and half the time they didn't use it or forgot about it. So there's a lot of $5 ones in there from GameStop because they go dormant. They're just lines of credit.
Gyms have the same way, or
gyms,
spas, or health clubs, or anything?
Yeah,
like that?
All the businesses, everything falls into those categories, of course. Nonprofits, youth sports programs, organizations. That's a common one. They have a lot of checks going in and out. They have a lot of transition in the board members and the treasuries, and a new treasurer might come in for a youth organization and say, hey, we're going to move from this bank to this bank because they have a better rate, and they just leave. They forgot, like, hey, that we also had a CD over there. Totally forgot about it. No one told them. Stuff, very, very common stuff, and people don't think about it.
Is there anything proactively we can do to ensure our money doesn't end up unclaimed somewhere?
And that's just it. When I'm at these events and people are passing by and they're like, no, I know I don't have anything. You probably don't have anything for me. That's a very common sentence. It's the stuff you don't know about. Mm-hmm. Another one I had an example of, it didn't actually make it to the Unclaimed Property Bureau, but my wife and I, we moved, we sold the house, and then we did our closing stuff, the settlement stuff. Well, I think we overpaid a tax, and they tried to the brokerage tried to return it to us, but we had moved, so I had no idea that they were going to send this, that I'm missing these checks. They called me like 2 years later and say, you never cashed them. We're about to send them to the state. Do you still have them, or do we need to reissue them? I'm like, well, I don't have, $2,000 worth of checks just sitting in my drawer waiting to get around to it, So no, I definitely never received those. Didn't even know they were coming. Please reissue. So as far as being proactive, it's usually the stuff you're not aware of. I had a young lady at Pitt. We did an event at Pitt University, and typically the younger crowd doesn't have a bunch because it takes time for the accounts to go dormant and then get sent over. So, and they're usually young. They just had their bank accounts. They're very young bank accounts. But sometimes parents will start one up and not tell them, or just they do tell them and it just, thanks mom, thanks dad, and they don't think about it again. Well, this young lady had a CD that her dad put in her name, and all those interest payments that were going in just went completely dormant because she didn't use the account. The thing matured and there was no account being used and sent over. So when she's at Pitt University, she just stopped by to say hi and let's try it out. And there was, I think it was $3,800 for her. She was pumped. She called her dad. Hey. She's laughing. She's smiling. It's nice to make people's day. So hopefully at Elite, we can do that quite a bit. I already reached out to some of those youth baseball programs to let them know.
Nice.
There's one out there for $1,600. Hopefully they get down there and sign that one up. But also for that elite event we're having, it's also on May 29th, which is tomorrow. And if you know, May's the 5th.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
my paper says Thursday, May 29th. So to set the record straight, it is
Friday the 29th.
Friday the 29th. Okay,
Yeah, today's the 28th.
That's very important. Friday the 29th.
Which is cool because it's May 29th, so 5/29, PA 5/29.
I see what you did there.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's also a big marketing day. There's always promotions out there. So if you sign up within the month of May, you're automatically in raffles where we can pull your name. And that's another perk I get to do. Sometimes we had a winner here in Beaver last year, and we deposited, I think the winner of that raffle was like $5,000. We deposited that into their 529 account. So a lot of promotions going on this month. So if you haven't opened one up yet, now's a good time, as well as claiming those Keystone Scholar programs.
So it's very important. It's Friday, May 29th, 5 to 8 p.m. Meeting to hear more about this. It'll be at the Elite Athletics Sports Complex in Beaver Falls. Fun for the whole family. They'll be talking about the PA 529 savings account, where every child born to Pennsylvania residents since 2019 gets a $100 scholarship. Jessie, you're giving our listeners, our Pennsylvania listeners, hope there's money out there for them. So let's,
yes, sir.
One more time, let's talk about that website. Everyone out there, I want you to go there and I want you to type in this web address. Go ahead.
Yeah, go to patreasury.gov, go to programs, find unclaimed property program, hit search, just check out your last name and your first name, and that's the minimum that you can search. And there's other fields you could fill in to kind of dial it in. So if your name's like John Smith, it's probably going to have a lot of hits.
Yeah.
You can dial it in with zip codes and stuff like that a little bit, and then find the ones that belong to you. And if you don't find your name, that means you have all your money, which is great. Check out your friends and family.
Yeah.
Business. If there's a restaurant you frequent a lot and it's a small family restaurant, they've been in business for 30 years, they're probably going to have something.
They might comp your next meal.
They might comp your next meal. You know, what they do with their money and their winnings is all their business. But yeah, be the bearer of good news. That's what I like to do. And thank you for having me out here to make sure that this information's out there.
Well, I know the first thing I'm doing when I'm getting off the air is going to that website.
Well, I have done a program. It was a streaming program where we look people up they'd call in and I just do it for them on the air.
Oh, we'll have to do that sometime. Okay.
Yeah, we did one for the national program. So NAPA is the National Unclaimed. So this is not exclusive to Pennsylvania. This is a nationwide bureau. You know, every state has their own. And I work with the other states, and we did a streaming one not too long ago on National Unclaimed Property Day. And So if you ever do anything, just on air, you can look yourself up too and see if you got anything. See if your family has anything.
We've been streaming this on our Facebook page. I'll make sure I do a link to that site as well on the comments so people know exactly. If you missed anything, you can track this down on our YouTube page and our Facebook page, WBVP, WMBA. Jessie, this has been informative. You made it very easy even for someone like me to understand.
Good.
No easy task, so congratulations there. Anything else you want to say while you're here?
No, just if you are available tomorrow night between 6 and 8, come down to Elite. Like I said, it's free use of that facility and building. Check it out. Check out the programs that we just spoke about and see if you have any money with the Pennsylvania Treasury.
Because like we said, the number is pretty impressive. $5 billion owed to more than 1.5 million Pennsylvanians. So get yourself there. Find out if you're one of them. And the address, by the way, on Elite Athletics is 3716 West 2nd Avenue. That's there on West 2nd Avenue. Thanks a lot, Jessie.
No, thank you, Scott.
You take care. Yeah.